Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into Chapter 14 of Big Data for Dummies, and trust me, this one is a total game changer. We are going to be talking all about the custom tools you're going to need to really, truly get a handle on massive data sets.
And a huge shout out to all the computer science students from Nexus who are tuning in. We actually designed this whole explainer with you in mind. We're going to be looking at the exact kinds of tools and frameworks that you'll not only be using, but potentially building yourselves in your careers. Okay, let's get right into it. In this chapter, we're officially moving beyond that one-size-fits-all, off-the-shelf software. We are stepping into the world of custom-built applications. And frankly, these are non-negotiable when you're trying to wrestle with the sheer scale and, let's be honest, the messiness of big data. But before we even think about touching the code, we got to talk about something more fundamental. We need a major shift in our perspective. See, big data isn't just a bigger hard drive. It demands a completely different way of thinking about analysis itself. So this begs the question, right? Why can't we just use the tools we already have? I mean, we've got some pretty powerful analytics software out there, so can't we just, pump more data into it? It's a perfectly logical question, but the answer, well, it's not quite that simple.
This slide right here, this gets to the absolute core of it. Think about it. Big data analysis isn't about running a report once a quarter. It's a living, breathing process. It's exploration. You might dive into the data without a clear hypothesis and just let the patterns speak to you. It's iterative, meaning you're constantly tweaking and refining your models. And we're talking about models with thousands of variables, not just a few hundred. And maybe most important of all, it's about taking action right now, not just generating a report for a meeting next month. Standard software just isn't built for that kind of dynamic workflow.
Okay, so if the standard tools are out, where do we even begin? Well, at the very foundation, building from scratch. I want you to imagine you're crafting a Formula One race car from the ground up. You're not buying it off a lot, you are literally milling the engine block yourself. Why? Because you're creating a perfectly tuned machine for one and only one specific challenge. This is where you get that absolute unparalleled power and control. And this quote it nails it. Tools like R aren't just calculators where you plug in numbers. No, they're more like a blank canvas for a data scientist. They're a place where you can literally invent entirely new ways of seeing, of interacting with your information.
So when you go full custom, you've got two pretty distinct paths you can take. On one hand, you've got something like R. Think of R as an entire workshop, fully equipped for you to build your analytical engine piece by piece. It's perfect for a super deep, bespoke analysis, like a PhD research project. Then, on the other hand, you have something like the Google Prediction API. This is totally different. This is like getting a powerful, pre-built AI engine delivered to your door. You don't build the engine, but you can integrate this black box into your app, instantly giving it a brain to make predictions.
All right, now let's move up a level of abstraction. Building everything from scratch is incredibly powerful, but wow, is it time-consuming. The semi-custom approach is kind of like a brilliant shortcut. So let's stick with our car analogy. This is like building a custom car, but instead of making the engine yourself, you buy a pre-built high-performance engine from a specialist. You're leveraging somebody else's deep expertise to get you on the road way, way faster.
And the benefits here are just huge. I mean, you're not just saving time. You're building on a foundation of quality and stability, because these components have been battle-tested by a whole community of developers. But for me, the flexibility is the real game changer. If a better, faster component comes out next year, you just swap it in. Your application can literally evolve as the technology does.
So let's make this more concrete with some real-world examples. Say you're building a stock trading app. Why on earth would you write all your own financial analysis algorithms from scratch when you can just plug in TA-lib? Or maybe you're trying to map out a social network. Well, Jung has all the graph theory and visualization tools you could ever need. And for anything involving maps or location data, there's GeoTools. Using these libraries is like having a whole team of specialists on call 24/7 for free.
And this slide just lays out the difference perfectly. That top path, that's the long, hard road of writing and debugging every single line of code yourself. The bottom path, the semi-custom one, is where you become more of an architect. Your most important skill becomes finding the right components and then writing the glue code that connects them all together. It's a real shift from being a craftsman to being a system designer.
Now, we've arrived at the top of the pyramid, application frameworks. So if a library is the engine for our car, a framework is the entire rolling chassis. I'm talking the frame, the suspension, the powertrain, the wiring, everything is already there and working together. All you have to do is focus on designing the body and the interior, the parts that actually make the car yours.
And that right there is the magic of frameworks. They handle all the annoying, tedious grunt work, the plumbing, like connecting to databases or managing tasks across a whole cluster of servers. This frees you up to concentrate on what actually matters, the unique application logic that solves your specific problem and creates real value.
What's really interesting is that even frameworks have different philosophies. You've got something like Fabric, which is all about abstraction. It's for the developer who just wants to get things done. It hides all the messy complexity behind one simple, unified API. Then you have Open Chorus, which is built for collaboration. It's more like a social network for data scientists, a central hub where a whole team can share data, tools, and insights.
So we've seen just how powerful these custom and semi-custom tools can be. But you know what? Building an amazing tool is really only half the battle. Now we have to talk about connecting it to the rest of the business, which brings us perfectly to our next chapter, Chapter 15, Integration.
And honestly, this is the million-dollar insight right here. A brilliant analysis tool that sits by itself is, well, it's pretty much useless. The real value, the true power, is unlocked when its insights start flowing back into the operational side of the business, automatically updating the CRM, optimizing supply chains, personalizing a website in real time. That is when data finally becomes action.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. In a world where every device, every system, every interaction is becoming interconnected and is generating data, does the distinction between a regular app and a big data app even make sense anymore? Is it possible that a big data strategy is about to become a fundamental, required skill for every single developer out there? Let that sink in. Thanks so much for watching.